Welcome back to Sid's Music, and today I'm taking this violin and I'm going to paint it. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is crazy. As musicians, we are some of the most creative people in the world. We literally make music to express how we're feeling, but our instruments don't really look the same as what we're playing. Like, we're playing these beautiful pieces of music and our instruments look like this. So I'm taking this boring instrument and I'm gonna paint a beautiful piece of artwork all along the back and maybe even some on the front. I've never done this before and I've only seen this done a couple of times. I know that the wood plays a crucial role in the sound of the violin. So am I very nervous about this? Yes, but am I so excited to create something beautiful? Absolutely. First rule of any good art project is you gotta figure out what the heck you want to paint. So I did a bunch of research looking up like different styles that people had already done, which there were a lot of different options, from flowers to fish to trees to even some abstract ones, but none of them really just caught my eye. And also, I really didn't want to just straight up copy. Like, I did want to be an artist and create my own. After like an hour of sketching and researching, an idea finally hit me. What if instead of we do nature, you do architect? I actually wanted to be an architectural engineer right before I switched to being a music major. I love the way that building looks, and I think especially some of the older ones are just so beautiful. And so I started looking up, like, instead of just, painted violins, I started looking up cool paintings of buildings, and I found one that I loved, and it was these old churches with the stained glass. I love the idea of stained glass. It kind of brings that colorful, because I'd still want to put some kind of color onto the violin, but it's not weird abstract. Like, the colorfulness has purpose. It also gives a little hint to like the historical of how old the violin is, because a lot of times you see these stained glass in old churches, and it still gives me an opportunity to keep some of the wood look, so it's not like maybe as out there, and hopefully looks really good. So I found one that I loved. I sketched it out on my little sheet of paper, made a violin, drew it out, and I was like, okay. The hardest part was what I wanted the stained glass to actually look like. Originally, as you can see here, I kind of went for more of like, maybe one side of the stained glass was going to be waves and the other was going to be like maybe a flower or something. But I did eventually change that, so you'll have to figure out why and watch later. It's officially day 2 and I've got the design figured out, I've got how I want it to look, and now it's time to actually sand down the violin. I have tried and done tons of research, and everyone is like, oh, the violin will either be totally okay or it can ruin it forever. Once I cross this moment, there is no turning back. I've also decided to help save me some trouble, I'm not gonna actually take this whole thing apart. I'm mainly gonna focus on the back of the violin, and on the front just paint in some of these like little corner areas, so I don't think I'm gonna need to remove anything, which will save me so much time and so much stress. If you're wondering what a musician's worst nightmare is, it's this sound. So please enjoy this horrific noise and watch this horrific scene take place. So it definitely still feels really smooth, but I think that's just how it's gonna be because it's smooth wood. It's definitely not as glossy as this side, which is kind of nice. I'm not gonna sand these sections until I'm ready to do them, because I don't want to I just don't want to do it. I'm scared. That's the real reason, is I don't want to do it, but there is no turning back now. We have to start painting. I'm gonna try to get some sketch on this, and then we're gonna see how it goes. Let me see if it still plays okay. I'm scared. Taking something drawn on a flat piece of paper and transferring it to a curved shaped violin proved to be harder than I thought, but it started to finally come together. And super helpful tip if you want to do this is to use chalk. It's super user friendly. You can literally wipe it off if you don't like the sketch, and you can paint over it, so you're not actually damaging the object. The worst part about a sketch is you don't actually have any colors picked out yet. So when I got to this point, I kind of had an idea of maybe what I wanted some of the colors to be, But the more you watch, the more you see I put down even more colors and different types of paint because I genuinely just didn't know what I wanted to do. So at one point I just got out every color I could think of. First paint stroke, I'm gonna go with this wood color. Like, Sydney, why wood? You just took like so much time to like, you know, destroy the wood. But I still want that really pretty like coloring, so here we go. I'm so scared. And there it is, the first stroke. I low-key don't want to go any further, I'm scared. But it's already too late. Do we like that color? Yeah, I think that's gonna turn out gorgeous. Okay, snap our fingers for the insane time lapse where what am I doing? What am I doing? Stop, stop! Where I sit here and paint for the next like hour, So the first thing that I actually ended up painting was the rest of that wooden outline, and I did this because I wanted to have kind of a sketch or like framework for what I was painting the other colors, even though they were gonna get super messy and I was gonna have to redo this whole thing. In my head, this was a good place to start. Something that I found that was still really difficult about painting a violin was, even though I had sanded it down, some of that wood was still pretty slick and the paint really wasn't loving to stick on it. So it took me some time and I had to do some extra coats to go over it and over it again. And something that I wish I would have done is maybe even painting just a full white base on this. I think that would have made my project a lot easier and saved me a lot of time. The outlines are officially all done. As you can tell, I started getting a little bit sloppy down here. Part of that is because I'm hungry and I'm about to go make some lunch. I think the other part of that is knowing that I'm gonna have to go in and probably repaint most of these lines because I'm gonna go in and do all the different colors. But I haven't quite decided yet what colors. So I'm a little bit nervous to just start painting because I don't really have anything set in stone. But I think that's kind of the point of stained glass, is it's just colorful and random. So I'm hoping that it turns out, but I am a little bit nervous. But first I'm gonna eat some lunch and then we'll get back to a time lapse and maybe do like a half. I don't know yet. Back from the lunch break, which is great. It's dried a little bit and this is how it looks. Kind of looks like a clock right now, which is like not. Also, the paint smells horrific. What kind of paint did I use? I don't know. Anyways, it's looking like a clock right now, which is kind of freaking me out, but like I'm like, it's fine, it'll be fine. This is the color that I want to use, this like yellowy kind of look, because I don't want it to be such like bright, pungent stained glass. I want it to be like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of that makes sense, but like I can't get the paint to come out. I've squeezed it, I've repopped it, nothing. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna cut open to it and hopefully pray it works, because like I feel paint moving around, but it's just like not coming out. So we're gonna, which is also really scary because if I want to paint, it's on the scissors. See? Look at that. It kind of looks like catnip. Not that I have a cat, but I watched a video the other day. That's what they did. Ooh, that's gonna look so freaking good. I know you can't see me, but you're gonna see this, which is more important. This is what I'm thinking about doing, is all of these like, these big kind of chunks that I'm gonna do, painting them all different colors. So I think I'm gonna start with the yellow, and then I'm gonna come back, and then also this is gonna be yellow. Maybe I should start here first. This little flower thing is gonna be yellow, and then it's gonna be like a darker brown. These maybe will be some bluey kind of color, or also maybe yellow. I don't know. We're just gonna go for it, okay? I know for sure that I want this yellow. I like that color, excuse me. It's a really bad angle for me, but that's okay. Yeah, that looks great. Ooh. I also should have probably outlined this before I did it, but that's okay. Yeah. That's gonna look incredible. So like, sometimes being an art is really hard because we are perfectionists. At least most of us are. Maybe you're not. That's good for you. And the hardest part about, you know, starting with a project like this is like, I genuinely don't know how it's gonna turn out. Like genuinely, I'm so nervous to see how this goes, but like I can't stop now, and I technically could change my idea, but feel like we're too far in at this point. Too much time has already been poured into painting this. So, like, it's looking good. I think this is how I want it to look. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to do more lines or black lines. I'm gonna do more black lines on these little details, just mainly because it's gonna be easier. Something that I completely forgot about was that paint turns up different on different textures and on different colors. Even though I sanded it down, I'm still painting on a really, really dark piece of wood. So this blue that I originally thought was going to be this like bright, fun color ended up turning out to be super, super dark, which at first I wasn't a huge fan of, but I thought maybe after a couple of coats, it would eventually turn out like that little stripe on the piece of paper. Hate it. Look at all these colors that I'm using. They look kind of dull on here, but like this blue is gonna hopefully turn out more of like a this blue. Hopefully. Now we'll add some colors. The red is gonna be way more pungent when I give it a second coat, and this yellow is just so dull, and I hate it. So I got us some lemon yellow, and we're gonna try this instead. I also hated that yellow, but we'll let later Cindy find that. So I'm in the next part, and I have kind of completed mostly. I'm gonna go through and add a couple extra colors to the bottom, but that stained glass is looking really, really good, minus the yellow. I'm not quite sure what to do about this top part. Like if I just keep doing this stained glass look, do I add another color or do I stick with these and just try to follow those throughout? I don't know. So I think I'm gonna try to do some, like, these two things are kind of the biggest things I'm concerned about because I have no clue what to color them. I've been thinking pink, I've been thinking the reds, I've been thinking the blues. I don't know. I did finally decide what I wanted to do. I added in that light blue to kind of help contrast the darker colors and fix the yellow. Now there are a lot of detail shots here, but that's because I didn't actually want to show you guys what the end product looked like until it was completely done. So after going in and adding in these black details, it was just some minor touch-ups and then we're ready to go. So it is finally finished, the complete painted violin. It was honestly one of the most stressful experiences I've ever done, and craziest projects as well, because in case you're wondering what one of the most traumatic experiences is, that would be taking sandpaper to a beautiful wood instrument and scraping it and scratching it and praying that it turns out. I didn't think it was gonna turn out this good, and I was really worried about the stained glass. When I finally put in those final details of the black and went through and touched everything up, it started looking so much better. And then I put two little accents to the front of the violin, so it doesn't take away from, you know, the still original beauty of the instrument, but the back just looks so good. And now we're gonna test it out. Now time for the moment of truth. I haven't played this thing with the paint on it throughout any part of the process, so I'm really, really nervous and scared, but here we go. That makes me feel so much better because I was low-key freaking out that I ruined an expensive instrument. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you want me to paint another instrument, or if you want an instrument painted, send it my way and maybe I can make custom instruments.